right, Neil, welcome to the digital scene here at Collision Conference. You are with?
HDI Rawworks.
Cool, and why are you guys here at the Collision Conference?
Good question. Well, we've been working with the RED camera since day one, when it first came out 3 years ago. The very first images of the very first RED were graded at our place. We're a post-production and color correction house. We've been working with the RED for the last 3 years. We've done many features. And the other thing we've started to work with over the last few years, the last few months, is the Canon 5D Mark II. Great camera. And what we're starting to do now is find innovative ways of integrating the RED workflow with the Canon 5D Mark II workflow to make sure that filmmakers can get a very, very coherent and smooth looking finished product. It's really working well.
So even though the RED shoots like in 4K and it's a different color space, and the 5D shoots obviously in HD with 420, right? You can make them look
We have a great example here from Vincent Lafrette, who shot a very super movie in Hawaii using the RED camera and the 5D. And I tell you what, we showed it on the big 60-foot screen yesterday to the audience, and I don't know if you saw it, but it was stunning.
Right.
And yeah, so it's not so much the color space. What's actually the biggest issue is how you transcode or work with the 5D. You know, it shoots 30 frames a second in H.264, which is a very compressed codec.
Right.
Whereas with the RED RAW, we normally convert that to ProRes. So what we do at the moment is we convert the H.264 to ProRes and the RED RAW to ProRes. We merge them together, and then we have to work out the frame issues, because normally, you know, with videos you shoot 2398 and not 30 frames a second.
So for the Final Cut Pro users out there, is that the recommended workflow? Is if you're shooting 5D, ingest it as ProRes 422 HQ, or does it matter?
HQ, yeah. I mean, typically 422 HQ is pretty good, you know, and it works well. And if you're going for the web or for HD TV, ProRes 422 HQ is absolutely the right codec. If you're going for a film out, we actually go to ProRes 4444. This new codec.
That's the new one on Final Cut 7.
Really fun, and we've been working with it for the last 6 months. And we've just got a movie into Toronto, which was shot on the RED last year, and we've graded that and finished that in ProRes 4444 RGB. And when we project that on the big screen, it looks absolutely stunning. It's amazing, right?
Now, if you're going to the web, do you recommend going to 4444? No. Is that overkill?
Overkill, totally. Yeah.
Overkill.
ProRes 422 HQ is absolutely wonderful for the RED. And then by the time you downsize it anyway, but 422 HQ is a really good codec and a good color space to work in. And for combining RED with the 5D, it's tremendous.
Well, where do you see the future of videography going? I mean, with the 5D, right, shooting beautiful imagery, and many people have been talking about the new iPhone, right, where it can shoot video. I mean, do you see, I mean, all kidding aside, in the future, an iPhone shooting 2K? I mean, who knows?
Well, if you know about Moore's law, you know what Moore's law is.
Definitely.
Every 18 months, CPU power doubles, but the price
cost in half,
right? Now, essentially, these new digital cameras are essentially computers with a imaging sensor behind them, and a good bit of glass in front of them, right? Absolutely. You will see the iPod increase in resolution, and then certain companies like Canon, wouldn't it be amazing if they were to release a digital SLR which shot at 24 frames a second? You know, they already have a 20...
Or 2K or 4K.
2K,
in fact, I just interviewed Tim Smith from Canon, and I told him, you know, is that in your roadmap? And he goes, you know, obviously they can't comment, but it's got to be, right?
They can't.
I mean, they're already shooting 21 megapixels for photography.
Absolutely, yeah.
So what's 4K?
Well, and you know, watch this space during this next week, because I think Canon might surprise a few people this week well, with some interesting products coming out. Yeah.
Good to know.
So companies like Canon and Sony and Nikon are already, you know, changing their digital SLRs, and then you've got people like Apple on the other hand, the consumer side, who, you know, the volume business.
Sure.
Absolutely, and this, you know, that's what's interesting. This conference is called the Collisions Conference, and what you're going to see is more and more RED and high-end digital SLRs coming together.
Sure.
And again, it's what it's really about. It's not just about the technology; it's about the creativity behind the camera. These are tools. You know, we've worked with 3 ASC DPs who have shot RED, and one of them, Rodney Charters, has also shot 5D. He's coming here to talk today. We're working with him. You give these cameras to an experienced, talented DP who knows how to light and shoot properly, and these guys can make movies which you would think were shot on the Sony F35, you know, or Genesis. So the trick here is not just the technology, but it's a tool for creative use. And if you saw what Vincent did yesterday, this guy knows how to squeeze every single ounce of creativity out of all this technology.
Definitely.
And that's essentially what we're doing as well in the workflow, because the camera nowadays, the post-production is as important as production. In fact, one of the things we say to everybody now is start at the end and work backwards. Know what your distribution is. If it's for the web, there's certain workflows. If it's for going to theatrical, there's other things.
Definitely. Sure. All right. Well, great to meet you. If people want to find out more about Hollywood DI, where do they go?
They go to www.hollywooddi.com. And on there, and we have another website called HDIRawworks.com, which focuses more on still photography, 5D, and integrating Red RAW with all these other still cameras as well. So HDI RawWorks for more about the collisions kinds of movie making, and Hollywood DI for higher end movie making.
Fantastic. Good to meet you. Thank you.
Thank you very much. Cheers. Take care.